a brand new episode of Wrestling with Siblings. I'm your host, Araceli, and this is your co-host, Armando.
Hi guys, I'm Armando, and welcome to Wrestling with Siblings.
We are officially on the road to WrestleMania, and it starts in Phoenix, Arizona. I can't wait.
How exciting. Keep in mind, this is where all the feuds start to play out. We're going to see who's going to be facing who, so super excited.
It's the most exciting time of the year. I cannot wait to see what road every superstar decides to take on their journey to WrestleMania.
And speaking of WrestleMania, we already have one superstar, actually two, but
one who punched their ticket to WrestleMania, and they are going, it's official, none other than Seth freaking Rollins, who ends up opening the show. He basically comes out and he says, 30 man, lay it all on the line for immortality, and he was the one that came out victorious. He was the one that defeated 29 other men to punch his ticket to WrestleMania.
Yeah, and he did it. I mean, he had one hell of a year, and what better way to, end it than
exactly. And
winning the Royal Rumble.
He said he was going to be winning, and it was going to be from his heart. You can call it passion, whatever you wanted, but that was going to be the reason why he was going to win.
And another thing, too, that Seth Rollins did say was that he wasn't going to do it, but he had to. The emotions got the best of him. He had to point to the side. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
And while he was doing that, he kind of got emotional because it was his dream to headline WrestleMania, to main event it, and now he gets the opportunity to do it. And keep in mind that when he was champion, he technically didn't main event because he cashed in his money in the bank contract.
Exactly, against Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. So he took advantage of the opportunity, which was brilliant. But getting back into Seth Rollins, he gets interrupted by none other than Triple H, who then comes out and he's like, damn it, you got emotional and now I got emotional, and this is the Seth Rollins everybody has been waiting to see. And, well, you lived up to the dream and now you pointed at the sign, and I am proud that you pointed at the sign, otherwise I would have been disappointed. So very proud Triple H from Seth Rollins, as we do know he was the one that encouraged Seth Rollins to become this new fired up Seth Rollins that we saw.
Yeah, and like you said, Triple H is proud of what Seth Rollins has done.
Exactly, and he does let Seth Rollins know that he has to make a decision tonight on Raw, and he had until the end of the show. He was either going to challenge Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship or Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship, so it could have gone one way or another.
We'll see who he chooses at the end of the night.
Exactly, and then none other than Dean Ambrose decides to interrupt, and he's like, this father-son thing makes me sick. And again, I think it's just jealousy. He's a little bitter, from everything that has just happened. Seth is finally getting the opportunities. He's going on to main event WrestleMania, and Dean Ambrose at this point doesn't have anything going for him.
Sorry, mainly I think that it was Dean Ambrose's plan to kind of sneak his way into the match and kind of using Seth Rollins in this whole father and son thing between Triple H.
I mean, he called Seth Rollins a kiss ass, and that's the only reason why he even won the Royal Rumble, but I don't see it that way. I feel like Seth Rollins really did earn his opportunity. He had a fantastic year throughout 2018, and I feel like missing out on the opportunity of giving Seth Rollins the opportunity to win the Rumble was just going to be, it was not a great idea to do that. And then this leads into Dean challenging Seth Rollins and being like, you haven't beaten me. I have been the only person you couldn't be able to beat. You can't pin me. You can't submit me. And, that kind of just sparked something in Seth Rollins. And Triple H didn't want to make that match. And it took a little pushing from Dean Ambrose. And he finally made it official, which then leads into Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, and I mean, Dean Ambrose had to push Triple H's buttons to get the match he wanted in Monday Night Raw.
Exactly. And Seth Rollins was very fired up. He was very, very physical. He was giving a fight to Dean Ambrose, and I feel like Dean finally saw a different side of Seth Rollins, and he really wasn't expecting it. I mean, he lost to Seth Rollins tonight, clean, and you saw that because he was super upset. He literally sat in a chair after, and he was just sitting there after the match, and I believe he was planning not to leave.
And not only that, but Dean Ambrose was also trying to take advantage that Seth Rollins probably wasn't 100% due to competing in the Royal Rumble match and winning it.
Exactly. I mean, he definitely wasn't 100%. He took a beating. It was absolutely brutal of a match for him. So
especially since he got put through the announce table.
Exactly. And then, as I said, Dean Ambrose stays outside after his loss. He's inside of the ring, sorry. And then they go to commercial. He comes back. He's still inside of the ring. And then Nia Jax decides to interrupt him. And then she just, attacks him from behind. And Dean is one of those people that once you set him off, he will go after you. And he really had to hold himself back. And the referees had to hold himself back from attacking Nia Jax.
You know what I really wanted to see?
Oh my god.
It was Renee Young to throw some hands, man. Hey, I mean, Nia Jax attacked Dean Ambrose. Renee Young should have come up and throw some hands. Kind of like what Naomi did with the...
Yes, but that's a different scenario.
I know it's a different scenario, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Renee throw hands, though. I knew if somebody came out to him and they just clocked him in the face, I would be like, excuse me?
Well, at least that's what I expected out of you, but...
And I would throw some hands definitely for you in case you were wondering.
If it was Nia Jax, I don't think so.
I still would. I'd probably get punched and beaten to a pulp, but I still would. Anyways, moving back into this, they came out because they were going to be facing Alexa and Mickie James to go on to the Elimination Chamber and possibly challenge for the brand new women's tag team titles. Sorry, I got a little stuck there because I'm not used to saying women's tag team titles up, but they went up against Alexa and Mickie, and I was very surprised that Alexa and Mickie didn't end up winning this. I was like, okay, they're a fan favorite. Well, at least to me they were.
Yeah, and they've been together longer than Nia Jax and Tamina.
Yes.
And keep in mind that this was Alexa Bliss's first match after being out for I believe 4 or 5 months, if anything. The last match we saw Alexa Bliss, if I'm not mistaken, was against Ronda Rousey.
I think you may be right. Correct us if we're wrong. Comment below. But yeah, it's been quite some time. She was showing no ring rust. She looked amazing, and she brought new things out. And that's something you always want to see from a WWE superstar. New things, getting creative, and that's definitely what she was doing.
Yep.
And she definitely gave a fight to Tamina and Nia Jax. She obviously stayed in this match for quite some time, but you gotta give it to Tamina and Nia, who obviously did a fantastic job keeping her away from Mickie James, because they knew Mickie James is a veteran. She knows how to, get away from certain things. And
yeah, obviously the experience was gonna play a huge factor in this match, and they knew if they kept Alexa on their side, they had a higher possibility of winning.
Yep. But also keep in mind, Alexa's very, very dangerous. But once isolating her, it was going to pretty much be impossible for her to get to Mickie James, and therefore they came out short to somebody like Nia Jax and Tamina.
But Nia Jax impressive. I mean, she was able to pick up both Mickie James and Alexa Bliss and just Samoa dropped them, and that's how she ended up getting the win.
I feel like she's getting a very, very big push, and I'm liking it because it's showing this new dominant powerhouse side of her that we haven't really seen. She seems more focused, more driven, determined to prove a point.
Like, she's not holding back.
Exactly.
She's using her full powerhouse to the advantage.
Exactly. She wants to make history, and she knows that if she doesn't step up now, she is going to be left out of WrestleMania, and that's something you definitely don't want to miss out.
And especially that, like you said, that the women's tag team titles are coming up. It's a huge opportunity for her to capitalize it.
Exactly. Moving on to the next match, which was Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle. This was very, very interesting match because Baron Corbin carried the majority of it. That was something I was not expecting, but Kurt did a fantastic job putting Baron Corbin over.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could tell Kurt Angle's age is starting to get to him. He kind of struggles to move around in the ring a little bit, even to walk. If you notice, when he walks down to the ring, he kind of walks a little funky.
Exactly.
But it is what it is.
The fact that he's able to still even get in the ring at his age is mind-blowing, but he knows the sport super, super well, and he knows that people are going to try to make a names out of themselves, like Drew McIntyre, out of him.
Yeah, and I think we kind of saw the same thing with Baron Corbin today.
Yeah, he tried to prove a point, and he came out short.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle at Mania.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either, but Baron Corbin was able to pull off the victory against somebody like Kurt Angle, which, honestly, that just puts you at the top of the card because you beat a Hall of Famer. You beat one of the greatest in-ring performers of this entire business, if not the world. So you gotta give it to Baron Corbin, and he has definitely improved over the last year. It was brilliant to bring him to Raw. It was brilliant to give him the role that you gave him, and he is probably the most hated superstar in all the roster right now.
Yes, right now, definitely have to agree with you on that one, and we'll see what 2019 brings for Baron Corbin.
Exactly.
Hopefully it's even better, and hopefully we get to see him in the title run. I would really like to see him get a championship opportunity. Maybe not the Universal Championship, but maybe the Intercontinental title.
I think he would do really good with either the U.S. or the Intercontinental Championship. I think that would be great. I feel like it would help him, and I feel like he could potentially do a great job carrying that.
Yeah, bring more out of him.
Exactly, which is what we want to see at the end of the day from the talent. Finn Balor, who we know is definitely not 100%, he came out and he says that he makes no excuses, that he got beat by Brock Lesnar, and then he got beaten by Brock Lesnar again right after. You gotta give it to him, man. He gave him a fight.
He did push the beast, Brock Lesnar, to his limit. You gotta give him credit on that.
He definitely did, and somebody like Bobby Lashley, who's jealous, interrupted, and he pretty much took him out.
Yeah, and at one point, I'm pretty sure if you look at the Royal Rumble, we all thought Finn Balor was gonna win with that coup de grace, but Brock Lesnar's quickness and his experience in MMA and submission holds was able to get the win over Finn Balor.
And then Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush, as I said, interrupt Finn Balor, and then Lio Rush goes on about, you're never gonna beat Lashley, and this and this and that, and it's kind of just like, that's so random. He comes out and just challenges everybody, which I think is good, because it's, giving Bobby Lashley that exposure, and it's showing that he can take on anybody no matter your size. But he got mad and completely just beat up Finn Balor and gave him a beating again.
Yeah, took advantage of Finn Balor that wasn't 100%. That was hurt. But hopefully this is good for Finn Balor, because maybe that puts him in the title page for the Intercontinental Championship.
And Finn is really good on the mic as well. Here's what he said to Bobby Lashley that set him off. He was like, I lasted longer with Brock Lesnar than you did at the Royal Rumble. What was it, 12 seconds? That was a burn, and that's definitely what set off Bobby Lashley into beating up Finn Balor.
Hey, man, he was just speaking facts.
Hey, he was, and it's not like he was lying. If that makes you mad, do better next time.
Yep. Sometimes the truth hurts, and it looks like it hurt Bobby Lashley on that one.
It did. It definitely did. But interesting to see where they decide to go for this. I could potentially see Finn Balor going for the Intercontinental Championship.
And Bobby Lashley didn't hit him with the pose this time.
So we all got lucky there.
Yeah.
So we all got lucky there.
Definitely.
We didn't have to see him pose. Moving on to Elias, who comes out and, pretty much wants to give a performance, and always, every single time, what happens, Armando?
Again, he gets interrupted.
Could never sing a song because somebody just decides they want to come out.
And who interrupts him?
Jeff Jarrett. Again.
And Road Dogg.
Yep. And so, here's the reason why he gets interrupted, though. He comes out and he's like, I am not going to perform for you guys. I deserve to perform for myself and myself only. And so that right there already automatically made me think, is he back to being a heel now? Because even just yesterday he was still a face, and now it's just like, plot twist, he is now here, but who knows, it could be part of his storyline.
I think he got mad because the fans, the WWE Universe, didn't give him a standing ovation.
Yeah.
They didn't receive him like that, like he wanted.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I could potentially see that, and he keeps getting interrupted, so.
But artists.
Yeah. Hey, when you're that talented and you deserve that spotlight, that's what you want, man. And then Road Dogg starts singing with Jeff Jarrett, and it was probably one of the greatest moments of Raw, because it's something unexpected, it's something fresh, something new, and you definitely were not expecting Road Dogg to just come out and, perform.
And they start singing, making their way down to the ring, and then all of a sudden, from behind, Elias decides to break a guitar to Road Dogg's back.
I'm telling you guys, I potentially think he could be heel again, and everything is leading me to that, but we'll have to wait and see until next week's Raw to find out, because we did see they did that with AJ. He was heel one day, and the next day he was already face, but I see why AJ was different, Moving on to Natalia and Dana Brooke versus Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan. The winner of this match was going to go on to the Elimination Chamber to challenge for the Women's Tag Team Championships.
Yeah, I mean, kind of odd seeing Natty and Dana Brooke. We were expecting Ember Moon, but looks like she got hurt and she wasn't able to compete. So,
hey, but Dana Brooke is not a bad partner. She did really well,
she's not a bad partner. All I'm saying is that it's just an odd pairing, just random. They haven't worked together as a tag team.
Dana though did a fantastic job beginning this match. You know, you can really tell she's really working on herself, trying to improve her in-ring skills and trying to just better herself, not only for her but for her partner. And she definitely told Natty, we got to see it backstage where she's like, I am better than you. She was talking to a veteran, man, and that's something that kind of just set them off. You already knew there was going to be an argument between the two.
Yeah, and then we kind of saw during the match that Dana Brooke tagged herself in when Natty was in the corner.
I'm telling you, it's the little things, man. But on the other hand, you had somebody like Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan who are family, treat each other like family pretty much, and they were able to capitalize on the distraction by none other than the mentor behind Liv and Sarah Logan.
Ruby Riott.
Exactly. Ruby Riott, who helped them pick up the win, and therefore you got to see Natalia be a little upset because she's not going to be able to challenge for the tag titles, you know, and I do feel like to her this meant a lot simply because she's been here for decades and now she wanted a shot at that and it was taken away from her.
And she wanted to be part of history again.
Exactly. But it's going to be very interesting to see because now we have two teams from Raw already heading to the Elimination Chamber, and those two teams are Nia Jax and Tamina, and 2/3 of the Riot Squad with Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan. It's going to be very, very interesting to see who else is going to be the last pairing, which we can already assume who it's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, Sasha
and Bayley. There's no other possible choice.
Most likely.
Unless you throw Alicia Fox with somebody else, but I mean, I most likely see Sasha and Bayley being the third team, and we'll find out next week. Because it is... Who is Alicia teaming with? Next week it's going to be Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Alicia Fox.
And...
I forget who it is.
I forgot who it was, too.
But we'll get into that next week when the match comes. Okay, moving on to Ronda Rousey, who holds her open challenge. She got booed out of the building practically. She could not speak, couldn't say a word because the crowd would not let her. They were just like, Becky, 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 we want Becky. And Ronda, at some point, you can kind of tell she lost focus because she didn't know what to say, and she was just, at the end of the day, she was just like, you know what, I don't know what to do, and I feel like that's because people have been behind her this entire time.
That kind of played a factor.
And she's like, you want Becky Lynch? Fine. Becky Lynch has a choice to make, and she said she was ready for whatever choice Becky Lynch was going to make. And Becky is going to be making her choice tomorrow on SmackDown Live per Triple H.
Yeah. And who answered to Ronda's open challenge?
Bayley.
Definitely. I mean, she was trying to step up to the plate after Sasha Banks lost to Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, but you also have to keep in mind, this is her opportunity. If you don't step up now, you're going to miss WrestleMania, and that is something no superstar wants to miss. And in order for her to do that, she was going to have to go to Ronda Rousey. But keep in mind, she's also trying to keep the legacy of Sasha alive, I guess, if you want to say it that way, because she was trying to do it for Sasha, you know.
And that was smart by Bayley because Bayley knew that Ronda was distracted by the crowd chanting
exactly
Becky, and that she just gotten off a match 24 hours from
Sasha. The Royal Rumble.
Yeah, from Sasha.
Exactly, and she had just faced Sasha, and as we do know, for those of you who saw the previous episode, Sasha took her to her limit. So she definitely wasn't 100%. So Bayley definitely picked the right night, and she gave her a fight. She proved why she is one of the 4 horsewomen, and she definitely proved why she is one of the best inside of the ring.
Yeah, hopefully we get to see more of this Bayley, which I really like what she showed in the ring. She was super, super impressive against Ronda.
There is something that's motivating Bayley. I don't know what it is yet, but if you look previously, she wasn't really driven. She wasn't motivated. And like these last couple of weeks, she's just been like go, 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 having some of the greatest matches in the roster.
I think the fact of the matter is that the women's tag titles are coming up, and I think she wants to be a champion, and she's been stepping her game up.
I mean, I believe it's been 2 years now since she's held a championship, because she was champion in Orlando when they had WrestleMania 33. So it's been 2 years. So put some gold around my girl Bayley. She definitely deserves it, and I feel like, you know, now's the time, and hopefully they take home the tag team championships.
Yeah.
Well, she can bring home one half of the tag team championships.
Make us proud, Bayley.
Exactly. We're always proud, but, you know, make us proud. And Ronda Rousey, of course, was not 100%, but she is always capable of bringing a fight, no matter what.
Yeah, she wants to be that fighting champion that we all want to see.
And I gotta give it to her, because so far she definitely has. You know, she has been there week after week after week, pay-per-view after pay-per-view, defending and making sure that Raw had a champion. Even if Brock isn't there, she wants to make sure that Raw has a champion you can talk about and be proud of.
Yeah, and during the match, Ronda kind of like tweaked her knee a little bit, had problems with her leg, and what did Bayley do? She immediately capitalized on that and went to the attack.
Took advantage of every single opportunity. She obviously was watching last night's match, and she definitely took advantage of every single situation, because she targeted her knee, and she was also targeting her arm, because she knew that if she could potentially take an arm and take a leg from Ronda Rousey, she had a half chance of beating her already.
Yep. And Bayley did use Sasha Banks'
His finisher, the Banks
submission
statement.
move, the Banks
Exactly.
statement, yeah.
And none other than Becky Lynch decides to interrupt after Ronda Rousey had already defeated Bayley, and, you know, they have shaken hands and a shown of respect. Becky Lynch comes out and she says, "I choose you." So we are gonna get to see this match, Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania.
Becky didn't wait till SmackDown. She gave us who she was gonna face, and I mean it was pretty obvious, Ronda Rousey.
And Becky did make it clear that she had heard about the baddest woman on the planet for the last year, and that when she came at Survivor Series and took out Ronda Rousey and her entire Raw roster, Rousey never came looking for her. It was Becky who was just sitting back and waiting for her to come looking, and she never did. And she had made her decision, and she said that she obviously chose Ronda, and she was going to take her title back and pretty much kick Ronda's ass.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
She pretty much got in the champ's face.
And Ronda says she wants the best version of Becky, and she told her, and this is true, you cannot deny this. She said, "I have the ability to kill you without breaking a sweat." She told that to Becky Lynch, and that couldn't be further from the truth. It's like...
Yeah, and what she means by that is if she uses her actual MMA background, then Becky stands
no chance. Exactly. And speaking of the UFC, she said, while I was main eventing the UFC, you were on the kickoff show of WrestleMania, and on her very first WrestleMania, she was already had the most talked about match, whereas Becky was nowhere on the main card.
Yeah, and then she was also saying that how Ronda was a brand before Becky was.
Exactly. And she said she's going to own her at WrestleMania, and they have a stare down, and I am super excited to see where this match is going to go. I believe now Becky Lynch is now officially a Raw member.
It looks like, I think she's still going to be at SmackDown, but she's obviously going to challenge for Raw. So we'll see how it plays out.
We have a brand new face in the Raw Women's division, and that is Becky Lynch, so everybody be careful, because she's coming for everybody. No one is safe. That's interesting, though, because who faces Asuka?
Yeah.
But, hey, we're going to have to wait and see. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But, moving on to Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre. Both of these men very, very upset due to the fact that they lost the Royal Rumble. They're being extremely brutal with each other. The match was super, super short, and it got interrupted by none other than Baron Corbin.
Yeah. Obviously, the feud between Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman still hasn't ended, and it showed in this match.
It definitely did, and don't be surprised if we see this match further down the line. I mean, we didn't really get to see it at TLC because we do know that Braun Strowman was injured. He had a shoulder or elbow?
It was elbow.
His elbow injury caused to him by the hands of Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and Baron Corbin.
Yeah, and I mean, Baron Corbin has beef with everybody in the roster so far. I mean, with Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, for a while with Elias.
Exactly.
So we'll see who he ends up facing down the road.
And, you know, at this point, Braun Strowman had lost it, so he starts taking out both McIntyre and somebody like Baron Corbin. But also keep in mind, like, he gave Drew McIntyre a beating. You don't see Drew McIntyre dominated the way he was. And it just goes to show the amount of powerhouse that Braun is.
The physicality.
Exactly. You just don't see that from Drew McIntyre. You don't see him on the ground. He's usually dominating the match, but at this time, Braun wasn't giving him any offense. He wasn't letting him shoot back at him, and therefore he dominated the majority of this match. And then McIntyre and Corbin decide to pretty much team up and take out Braun Strowman again. It's kind of like a flashback from a few months ago when they took him out and pretty much injured his elbow.
Yeah, when they shattered his elbow.
Yes. But moving on to pretty much what was considered the main event, where Seth Rollins was going to be making his decision on who he was going to be facing at WrestleMania.
Keep in mind, Daniel Bryan was also in the building waiting on Seth Rollins' decision on who he was going to pick.
But Brock Lesnar did not want to wait for Seth Rollins to come out and address who he was going to challenge. So Brock Lesnar, he comes out and they start talking about
how Seth Rollins shouldn't pick Brock Lesnar because of what happened to Finn Balor, how Brock Lesnar is the beast, and how all it takes is a couple F5s.
Exactly. But at this point, Seth Rollins decides, I am no longer going to wait. He interrupts him and they go right after each other. And I guess this now sets the stage for WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. I feel like Seth has a really, really good chance of beating and dethroning the Beast.
I like the confidence that Seth Rollins is showing. Not everybody goes up to the Beast and goes face to face and size him up.
Exactly, but also keep in mind, Brock delivered 6 F5s to Seth Rollins tonight. So that is crazy brutal. So just imagine the faith of Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
And again, as Seth Rollins was attacking Brock Lesnar, when he was going to do the curse stomp, out of nowhere, Brock Lesnar with his quickness countered and did the F5, and it was pretty much over from there.
And Rollins pretty much pushed his buttons even more because he told him, is that all you got? Is that all you got? And it's going to be interesting to see where this match goes.
He awoken the Beast.
He did, and that is not good. But that's all I have for you guys on this episode of Wrestling with Siblings. I'm Araceli.
I'm Armando.
And remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Leave us a review on iTunes to be entered to win a potential prize that nobody has seen other than the two of us. And I'll leave the links below. Become a sibling today. And for those of you guys that do not know what WWS stands for, Armando, what does WWS stands for?
Wrestling with Siblings. Again, thank you guys so much.